Okay, good morning. Wednesday, the 21st of January. We've had a good couple of days. The account is starting to get into a nice uptrend, although the DAX is not in an uptrend. So yesterday, the market really sold off in the morning. It recovered most of that by late afternoon, but this morning, yesterday's closing price has acted as a bit of a wall, and we've had a bit of a sell-off from yesterday's close in the last half an hour. So we'll see what happens when the market opens. We'd be short biased, I think, unless the market breaks above this previous day closing price. Trump's making a speech at lunchtime today in Davos at some global economic forum. I think a lot of people are going to be waiting for that to see what he says, because it could really shape what's going to happen in the market for the rest of the week, at least. So I think some patience will be required this morning to see what direction the market's going to take. Yesterday it was very obvious. About 2-3 minutes in, the market was likely headed lower, and then it was just a case of us getting a good entry. Today's not quite as simple as that. The market may well head lower, but we are within the range of yesterday, so direction isn't quite as clear. 1 minute till the market opens, and then we'll see what happens. We are currently sat within the overnight range. If the market does come up to test and reject the previous day close, we could enter a short position. But we want to be really careful, really patient, make sure that we're not selling into an uptrend. That's where we're at. That is where we are at. We'll also be looking at the market breaking this support level here, these lows. This is at 7 a.m. So this is breaking. If the market breaks the low of the previous hourly candle, we would take notice of that. Wow, okay. Okay, plenty of activity off the open. All right, let's see what we can do. Okay, we're looking potentially at an immediate break of the last hourly candle. So market's falling. There's nowhere here for us to get an entry. This early on. Area that I'm interested in is this support, a retest of this 640. I'll do the same plan as yesterday and focus on this screen. So I want to see some sort of meaningful retracement before even thinking about entering. So quite a similar open to yesterday, where we've moved down in the first 1 or 2 minutes and are then moving sideways. This was then followed by a break to the downside yesterday. Wonder if something similar might end up happening today. And potentially trade a break and retest of this level here. Okay, so the market's made a new low there. We are close to the bottom of the overnight range here, though. We do want to be aware of that. I'm going to stay out of this trade because we are right at the low of the overnight range. We're literally a few points away. So this could be, as we're seeing now, buyers coming in. So if this pattern, this break and retest pattern was happening below the overnight range, I'd be all in 100%. But not right at the lows. It's not a good place to be. That doesn't mean there won't be a breakout. It just means the probability of it working right now is less. So that was the correct decision, as tempting as it was. It was the right decision. So happy with that. I was hovering over the sell button. So we're retesting, well, testing for the first time VWAP right now, which you can't see on the screen you're seeing. I've got it on mine. We've blasted right through it temporarily. So yeah, that would have been a loss. That would have been a loss had I sold short. So really pleased that I recognized where the market was. So we're now actually testing these 7 a.m., 6 a.m., 5 a.m. lows. Wonder if this will be where it rejects or not. Okay, I'm short here. Short here. On a retest rejection of those 7 a.m. lows. hovering around break even right now. Okay, I've closed the trade. Closed at VWAP. Will head lower, but this is not exactly a textbook trade from me by any means, and I'm willing to take a loss on it. So basically, we're above VWAP, and I don't tend to short above VWAP. I did because the market felt weak, but in hindsight, I'm really not willing to lose profits that I've made this week on a trade where I'm not 100% happy with it. But that being said, it was still £300, £300 profit. So we will take it. But I would much rather let the market fall below the overnight range and trade our classic break and retest from there. Again, it's the sort of trade that once I'm funded, I would sit and let that run, especially given that I'm already up in profit for the week. And I was talking about this yesterday. Once I'm funded and I have a little bit of a cushion of profit in my account for the week, I would take trades like this. But for now, I'm going to do it the boring, cautious route. It's essentially discretion versus mechanical trading. You know, this would be a very discretionary trade, which when you have enough evidence for it, there's nothing wrong with taking it. But until I've passed and had a couple of payouts, I want it to be purely mechanical. So the market did fall lower, so I would have made some more profit had I held, but now it's moving higher again. So I think on balance, I'm happy coming out where I did. So the plan now is to be real patient. I'm just going to switcheroo screens. So you've got some real indecision here now. Our key levels are the bottom of the overnight range down here and the previous day close up here. Now, if we do come up to the previous day close, that could be a really good short opportunity, or if we break through it, a really good long. So this would definitely be a key area of interest today up here. And if we now come all the way down and break the overnight range, that would be a sign of some serious weakness, and then we could short down to yesterday's lows. But right now it's super choppy, which you can see here on this 5-minute chart, where we've got weak candle, tiny candle, indecision, bullish, and then more indecision. So yeah, best thing to do is just relax. So with that small trade, even though it was a small trade, we've essentially now hit our weekly target. Nice. We've hit our weekly profit target. So it makes me even more inclined to be very patient and cautious. Because if I just keep hitting my weekly target for the next 6 to 8 weeks, I will be a funded trader. Simple as that. There's a real debate among different traders about whether the right approach is to focus on trading your own account balance or trading purely based off of what the market's saying. So basically, should you let the fact that you're in profit or loss for the day or the week, for the month, affect your trading decisions? Some traders say yes, obviously, because it affects your psychology. Other traders say you need to train yourself so that the only thing you focus on is the present moment and the present market. I think once you're funded, I think it's certainly a better idea to try to avoid focusing on what your account balance is and purely focus on taking the right trades in the moment. But I think while I have such a clear set goal, it would be crazy for me to try to ignore that. So market's moving higher now. We're back basically to where we opened. Basically, exactly where we opened. This is certainly showing signs of just being a trading range today. Now, again, it's a pretty hefty trading range, 100 points or so, but that's because of the increased volatility due to Trump. So same as Monday, really, where we were in a trading range, but there were still opportunities to be had because of the increased volatility. So what I'd like now is for the market to rally up to where we were in the pre-market. Another trade that I could have taken this morning, and I was watching it live, so tempted to take it, was the double top retest of yesterday's close. So wanted to short it, but it was in the pre-market, and I've agreed with myself that I'm not going to trade the pre-market until I'm funded. So tempting. Such a clean double top here at 20 to 8 would have worked out really well. Now, the reason I'm not trading it is because the idea of losing profits that I made the previous day before the market's even open, I just, I can't get my head around that at the moment. But the mindset once I am funded will be, well, I'm already £1,500 up for the week. Why not risk £500 to see if we can make another 2,000? That's the mindset, and that's the right mindset to have once you're funded, or if you're trading your own money. Seeing your weekly account balance as not being yours until the end of the week. So when you see really good opportunities, you can risk a portion of your open profit to potentially make a lot more. And if you lose the trade, you're still up for the week, and you're so you're only losing open profit. So many different ways of approaching trading from a psychological perspective. It's so interesting to see how different traders do it. So the market's just come up to where we opened and has just for the moment found some sellers there. Right, I think now's a good time for me to go and get some food, considering we are right in the middle of the trading range. I'm going to set myself some alerts. So if in the next 5 minutes we hit either of the areas of interest, I'll get a notification. If not, I'll be back in 5 minutes or so. All right, I had the charts open on my phone downstairs, so I could see there was nothing happening. And really nothing happening, is there? It's proper bugger all. So it seems like there was some orders being placed immediately off the open. Some selling going on. Likely some big investment firms and institutions getting in down here. And now they've all gone quiet. Everyone's waiting for Trump. So I want to be quiet while I eat my breakfast. We'll wait until just after 9 o'clock. But the market, it's going to have to either rally 50 points or fall 50 points for me to even start getting interested. So I would say it's now quite unlikely for me to be doing anything, but I may as well sit around while I eat breakfast. Right, well, this is just classic range bound action, not tradable. Well, not for me. So let's just go through the trade that we did make today, although it wasn't particularly great. Now, this was a valid setup. It just wasn't really. This isn't the sort of trade that I'm currently looking to make. So, but just because it's not a trade that I'm currently looking to make doesn't mean it was a completely shit entry. So the market moved lower off the open. I was super tempted down here because we had a break and then a retest of this low. I was super tempted to enter short. I didn't, because the overnight range low is literally right here. So I avoided it because of that, which was a great decision, because that would have been a very quick, easy loss. So that was nice. This was my best. This is the best thing I did all day today. Maybe all week, actually, because I was so close to taking that trade. But I didn't. So that's, £800, £900 saved. The market moved higher, and then we tested, I'll show you the 5 minute. We tested these lows here, which I'd already mentioned a couple of times, these pre-market lows. So I went short on a rejection of these, and I took profit down here. It was sort of a bit of a nothing trade, to be honest. Now, if this was happening again below the overnight range, this is great. This is great. If this is happening below the overnight range, it's great. But we're not. We're within the range. So the probability of any sort of real follow through or trend developing is far, far, far lower. So yeah, and then since then, absolutely nothing at all. And I doubt there will be anything until Trump has made his speech. And if nothing comes of Trump's speech, then when the US markets open this afternoon. Now, despite that, we are set up for an interesting rest of the week. Because are we going to rally higher? I'd say that's most likely, unless Trump says something crazy. I'd say that's most likely. This is the 4-hour chart. You get rid of my trade history. Or are we going to head lower? Heading lower would take us right back into the range that we spent the last 7 months of 2025 in. So to be honest, I'd rather avoid that if possible. If we do go down, I want us to go down fast and hard and try and make some money along the way. But we are sort of sat right near the top of that range, right near all-time highs. So it wouldn't take much, really wouldn't take much positive news or decent sentiment for this market to head higher again. It wouldn't take much at all. So we could very quickly be back up here. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully for a bit more of an interesting session than today. But, that's fine. The market's given me plenty this week. We've hit our weekly target. So you can expect a fair bit of caution the next 2 days to not give that away. Because it is all about maintaining performance for the next couple of months to get where we want to be. All right. Thank you very much. I will be back in the morning.